now know that the elliptical path the electron follows is not just one but multiple. These orbits are at definite distances from the center, i.e. the nucleus. The electron cannot come any closer to the nucleus than the nearest orbit from the nucleus. The electron can, however, transit from one orbit to another apparently without any predetermined reason. The electron can absorb radiation to jump from an inner to an outer orbit, just as it can emanate radiation when it transits from an outer to an inner orbit. It is this emitted radiation that we call light. As long as the electron is constrained to move in the same orbit, there is no emission of light. This theory is the basis of quantum mechanics that explains why an atom retains its structure, why the universe remains intact. It is speculated that more than 1 billion years ago, something unusual had happened. A gigantic star had come close to the sun. The immense gravitational pull between this visiting star and the sun triggered waves of superheated gas. The gas further splintered into individual lumps of masses, some of which were gobbled up by the star. The rest began circulating around the sun. It is from these burning vapor balls emanated the planets, one of which is our mother Earth. Because the splintered objects were relatively small in size, they cooled up faster. First, the gas liquefied and eventually became colder to form solid masses, such as the Earth. There is a story going around that the great scientist Newton once witnessed an apple falling downwards from a tree. The question that arose in his mind, why does the apple not travel upwards? He surmised that there must be a force with which the earth pulls the apple towards it. Indeed, the earth attracts everything within its vicinity towards its center. Surely the moon is not spared either. It is understood today that all massive objects attract each other. The larger the mass, stronger is the attraction.
Akash bhara, surjo tara, vishwa bhara.
Jai
জানার মাঝে অজানারে ভুলেছি সন্ধান বিস্ময়ে তাই জাগে আমার গান আকাশ ভরা সূর্য তারা।
The universe that arose from the interplay of oppositely charged particles is characterized by contrasting forces leading to association and dissociation, attraction and repulsion, binding and unbinding. On the one hand, there is this great freedom, asymptotic freedom in today's parlor, and on the other, there is this great attraction. Every object is either in a free state of motion or in a bound state of attraction. The particulate matter in today's science is believed to be in a microscopic, minuscule form which is endowed with this dual property, Gurudev writes. Both properties are essential for the stability of the atom, just as they are for the structure of the universe. Millions of miles of emptiness separate the sun and the planets, yet the underlying gravitational pull has this invisible effect of making the planets revolve in their orbits, much like the reigning circus horses. Concomitantly, the sun also rotates within the galaxy of stars due to the same gravitational force, albeit much slowly in relation to the Earth. It is interesting to note that the space available to a planet in the solar system relative to its size is in the same ballpark as the relative space available to an electron inside an atom. Therefore, just as planets orbit around the sun because of gravitational attraction, electrons rotate about the nucleus due to electromagnetic attraction. The difference is that, in contrast to gravity, unlike electric charges attract, like electric charges repel. Unquote from Bishop. The atom to arise in a grand unification to put gravity on the same key as other fundamental forces, including electromagnetic, has remained unsuccessful to date. Rabindranath was deeply concerned about the environment. His concern is very timely in view of the all-round degradation of the Kwai area in and around Shantiniketan, and also climate changes. On the issue of climate, Tagore's writing in Vishnu Purichoy translates like, as the earth begins the process of freezing into a solid lump from a liquid mass at the time of its inception, its surroundings were filled with humid vapor and carbon-related gases. Further cooling led to nitrogen and other gases. It is surprising at first sight that so much oxygen has survived, even though the latter is highly reactant and prone to form compounds. The reason is the abundance of trees and vegetation. The trees help imbibe carbon from atmospheric carbon dioxide to form cells and release oxygen. The resultant loss of carbon dioxide is replenished from the exhaled air of living and non-living ones. It is surmised that life began from the semblance of oxygen left behind in ancient vegetation. The growth of the latter released further oxygen gas in the atmosphere at the expense of carbon dioxide. The molecule called chlorophyll is present in the green leaves that store sunlight in the form of energy. That energy helps create food in the form of fruits, crops, etc. On the other hand, the tiny amount of carbon dioxide in the air penetrates as carbon in vegetables from which coal is produced, thereby aiding sustenance of life. It is a tree that is central to the chain of food production in the form of rice and wheat, by the process of mixing carbon dioxide with water with the aid of chlorophyll that draws energy from the sunlight. Tagore captured the critical and essential importance of trees, plants, vegetation and crops in the evolution of man by institutionalizing in Vishwa Bharati certain festivities such as Vriksharopon, tree planting, and Holocaustion, plowing. Torun Kobi in this slide is none other than Rabindranath himself.